What is the best, or at least the most fun, road circuit in Forza Horizon 6? To figure this out, I went to Rivals and tested each of the 10 currently available road circuits in the 2022 Toyota GR86 in A-Class, and I kept it authentic with rear-wheel drive, but I had to add the wide body kit, of course. Super fun and lively car to drive, tune is by me, and the beautiful livery is by StuiiDesign. Share codes you can find for both in the description down below. Driving this and testing the tracks was a lot of fun and gave me a way better idea of which circuits I actually like to race on. Today it's only road circuits. Sprint and dirt races I will probably look at in the future. If you want to see that, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Keep in mind that this is my personal list and your mileage may vary. So let me know your personal best and worst tracks down in the comments. But now let's get into the list, starting with the, in my opinion, worst track. And that to me, without a shadow of a doubt, is the highway circuit around Tokyo. This is just so boring to drive, especially here in A-Class, but even in other classes, you basically go just full throttle the whole time with like 3 braking zones, I think. It's just not my cup of tea, and that is why this track for me is coming in at number 10. You will see here I'm just full throttle all the time, and because my car isn't really tuned for high speed, I can't even catch the rival that I was put up against. I mean, you could see there, a corner like that, that's of course a little bit more of a challenge, and especially in this rear-wheel drive car. But we've skipped ahead now because this is also a very long track. Here is another one of those braking zones. It's not really that crazy, and the walls on the outside also make it to where you really just need to be quite precise in these, which I guess can be fun. I mean, maybe this kind of a circuit is fun for some people. It's definitely not for me, so this is why the highway circuit for me comes in at number 10. And at number 9 we have then the Daikoku circuit, which I have to say isn't really a bad track at all. Like, it's just a little bit uninteresting in terms of driving. It looks really nice. I mean, the scenery here is very unique. It's not a typical city track. There's a lot of different kind of buildings going on here, contrary to the other circuit in the city of Tokyo, which we'll take a look at later in this list. But just overall, from a driving standpoint, the roads here are very wide, so you have a lot of high-speed turns. I mean, there is a little bit of a challenge, especially in higher classes as well, where you really have to know what your car can handle. But still, the other turns that you do have that are a little bit slower are mostly about 90 degrees. So for me, it's not the most vivid and fun track, but it's okay, I would say. So I wouldn't say that this is bad at all, but still, for me, it comes in at number 9. And at number 8, we have the Shimanoyama circuit. I hope I'm saying this correctly. This is probably gonna be a lot of pronunciation errors on my part here on these Japanese tracks, but I've had a lot of fun on these, I have to say. Overall, I really like Japan and all the tracks that it has to offer. Just that for the road circuits, this one really, for me, is only befitting to quite slow classes. It's just too small, too tiny, and too narrow overall for good racing for most classes. It's great for drifting though, but for racing it's at number 8 for me. And at number 7 we have the Irokawa circuit down at the rocket facility. This one, once again, isn't a bad track at all. It just suffers from kind of the same problems that we had in the last entry, which is that it is quite small, quite short, and therefore just not as interesting as some of the other tracks that we'll get to later in this list. But this is a totally fine circuit. It has some very basic features, but it's still nice to look at. Scenery, once again, quite unique, and that is also something that I do really like. I just like driving where it is actually nice to look at. This last turn here, by the way, in a rear-wheel drive car with the dip is kind of difficult, but yeah, that's it for the Irokawa circuit. And at number 6 we have the Electric Town circuit, which is the city track of Forza Horizon 6 in the middle of Tokyo, and putting this at number 6 actually is quite high for me, because I usually do not like city tracks at all with all the 90-degree corners that you usually have in those. But here they really, I think, made a quite great route, because there is a lot of different things, not just 90-degree turns. There are some, but even those sometimes aren't quite 90 degrees. Like there's one coming up here, but there is definitely some variety for a city track, and also there is variety in how wide the roads are. Sometimes you have a wide road like this, but you also have in the later part here a really nice section through a park, which that is definitely a feature that really makes this track a lot better, even though I screw this up quite badly here in my run. Really fun, and yeah, overall really nice circuit for a city circuit, which, as I said, is not normally my cup of tea. But yeah, really great job to whoever designed this track. Really fun, which is why this is coming in at number 6. And coming in at number 5 is the Legend Island circuit, which is the last circuit that you do unlock once you have finished the whole campaign. And this is actually quite a fun one, but I still was debating of putting this a little bit lower, because in the A-Class car that I'm driving, it's not that interesting. This here is actually the most interesting turn, which you can barely take flat. Apart from that, there is really just a lot of full speed going on. But, and this is why I put it at number 5, in the higher classes, so S1, S2, R class, even maybe X class, though I don't race that. This circuit becomes a lot more challenging, because it really depends on your car setup. Do you have enough downforce to go through the full flow section in the very beginning, and do you then have also the mechanical grip for the slower sections, like the turn that we just had, and especially the hairpin here. That is, I think, where this circuit really shines. And so I decided to put it still here at number 5 because of that, even though, as I said, in A-Class it's not that interesting. But still, the car that I'm driving, I just wanted to take it everywhere, because I just wanted to have a good comparison, and also I really like this car. If you haven't seen this yet, I mean, in the other tracks that we did take a look at, this car is lively and really fun to drive. If you keep the rear wheel drive, it's super fun. I mean, it's not the fastest, not at all, but it is super fun. So, Legend Island circuit at number 5. And at number 4, we have the Sony circuit. A really unique one because of massive elevation changes. You'll see this in the first sector here, which is a feature that we didn't really see all that much, if at all, in the circuits in Forza Horizon 5, and I really like this. I in general really like the addition of the actual racing circuits. They really bring something very cool to the table, and it's a great addition to all the other tracks that we do have. This one in particular is maybe also not that well suited for the higher classes, because it's still kind of short. But here for A-Class, it's actually really cool and super fun. And I personally really enjoy this one, which is why it comes in at number 4. And now getting to the podium, at number 3 we have the Shirakawa circuit. One of 2 circuits in the countryside, which is my personal favorite in terms of racing circuits. If there weren't also the proper racing circuits that were added in Forza Horizon 6. But these kinds of tracks in the countryside, really cool. Also, this one is one of the like medium length ones with like about a minute, and features not only some technical sections but also some really high speed ones, like here on the back straight, which is the kind of variety that I really like. And also it's super beautiful to look at. It's just amazing, in my opinion, what they did here with the world for Forza Horizon 6. And this is why tracks like this really speak to me. We'll probably also see this more once we get to the sprint races in another video. But for the circuits here, this one is definitely on the top of my list at number 3. But even above that, at number 2, for me, comes the other of the 2 circuits in the countryside, which is the Narai-Juku circuit. This one is a little bit shorter than the previous one, but it has some really nice sections. And while it does feature some high-speed ones, it's not as high-speed as the previous one, but it has some low and mid-speed stuff, which, like, those sections are really cool to drive. Also, this kind of chicane in the middle, which you can take flat, at least in this kind of a car. But also this corner here onto the, basically almost the start-finish straight with the last kind of chicane here. These are really fun to drive, and that is why I really enjoy this circuit. By the way, don't ask me why it started to rain here in Rivals. That really shouldn't happen, but for some reason it did. And at number 1 for me comes the last of the racing circuits, the Hokobo circuit. This one, when I saw this for the first time, I really liked this already, and driving it, I can say this is my favorite of all the road circuits in Forza Horizon 6 currently. It just has a really nice first sector with some high-speed stuff up the hill, really fun, a hairpin, because why not, and you need mechanical grip for that, so that's really nice, so that you actually build a proper setup, but then some more high-speed to then some mid-speed stuff at the end. I personally really like this combination. It's not too long, it's just about the 55 seconds mark in this car, and that's perfect for me, which is why I needed to put this at number 1. But as I said in the beginning, this is just my list, so definitely let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree on any of these. And by the way, if you're wondering where's the Goliath and the Colossus, those are also road circuits. Well, I did exclude them, I think for obvious reasons. They are just in a category of their own. But if I had to put both of them somewhere, then I would have to put the Colossus at the very bottom, because it basically is just the highway circuit in way longer. I really dislike the Colossus in this game. Maybe I'm in the minority here, and there are a lot of people who like this kind of stuff, but this is just not for me. I did drive this once, and then I will probably not touch this again for a long time. The Goliath, on the other hand, I actually would probably put in the top 3 somewhere, because this one actually features some of the most iconic roads of the whole world of Forza Horizon 6, and it is super long. I mean, I think I did drive this in S2 class, and it did take over 20 minutes, so this is definitely not comparable to any of the other tracks we did take a look at here. But yeah, I think the Goliath in Forza Horizon 6 is probably the best Goliath that we've ever had in a Forza Horizon game. Really enjoyed this one. But yeah, now it's up to you. What are your personal worst and best racing circuits here in Forza Horizon 6? And if you enjoyed this list and want to see more of this, like for the sprint races or for dirt racing, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. But until then, thanks a lot for watching. I've been HD, have an awesome day, and see you in the next one.